Hello, welcome back to A Month of Miracles. I'm glad that you're here. If you're brand new, go ahead and write your name and your comments. Tell us why you're here, what it is that is causing you to join us for A Month of Miracles, what kind of miracles you're seeking, and what you're hoping to get out of this session. If you've been here before, feel free to tell us what brings you back. What is it that makes you come back to listen to more miracles? If you're on YouTube, write it in the YouTube comments. For those of you on YouTube, this is being streamed on YouTube, but it's actually live in a Zoom call. So you can come be here in person with us. You can listen to the miracle stories and then have Q&A with the guests afterwards. And it's totally free. So go down to the URL in my name there, and you can register at learnlivefly.com/miracles, where you'll be able to hop in and be here live with us. We have miracle stories every Monday and every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And then on Wednesdays, we do live coaching Q&As. So you can bring your miracles and you could say, this is what I'm working on. And we can coach you through getting into the miracle mindset and be able to connect you with resources that we might have, me or someone else who's on that call might have something that you need to help that miracle come to pass. So thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. And today we have an amazing guest, Miss Shelley Perry. I've met her recently and it's been really fun getting to know her. She is a mother, a woman of strong faith. She's a wife and a mother of 5 girls. She enjoys being with her family, traveling, and sports, especially when all those things can be done outside because nature is her sacred space. We are soul sisters on that one. Me and my hammock are friends. For those of you who know me, you know that. Shelley is the host of the Walking with God in Nature podcast and the owner of the Live Greater company. She strongly believes that miracles occur daily, big and small. So I'm excited to hear her miracle story. I actually haven't heard the story. I just heard a glimmer of it, and I'm really excited to dive deeper into this because when she was 5, she was actually buried under a fallen tree, and miracles all along the way. So I'm going to turn the time over to Shelley, and we're going to let her hop in and share with us what exactly happened there, because I don't even know how to imagine what that looks like or what that must have felt like, especially being 5, and what that would have been like for her family, but how she got through that and the miracles along the way. So thank you, Shelley, for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me. This is so exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to let you just hop right in and
okay.
Tell us the story. If I have anything that comes up, I'll be like, I have to talk about something. Let me ask a question.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll let the Q&A people in to be able to ask questions as well.
Okay. So I grew up in Oregon, a lot of trees, right? So when I was 5, I grew up with 5 brothers, and my oldest 2 brothers and I went with my dad and our dog out to the boonies, out in the middle of nowhere for my dad to cut firewood. And I was 5. My oldest brother was, so he'd be 9. And so we were out there, and my brothers went down to this field to play down below where my dad was cutting. And I was up with my dog, and there was this huge hole, massive hole that my dog and I were playing in. So he would run into the hole and chase each other out. So it was kind of a race. So we were doing that for a little while. And as a 5-year-old, I didn't realize right next to what created that hole was a tree that had fallen. So the roots had created that hole. My dad didn't know I was there. He thought I was down with my brothers, and he was trimming that tree to cut for firewood. Well, taking the weight off the tree, the roots came back down to where they originally came from, and I was in that hole. So my dog escaped just in time, and I miraculously turned around on my back just as it came down on me. So I was buried up to my chin under these roots. And I guess I don't remember screaming for my dad, but I guess I was screaming for my dad, and he ran down to the field. My brothers had no idea where I was, so they had to look for me, and they found my head popping out of the ground. And wow, the emotions of that come back, and I was only 5. And so just amazing miracles that happened from that. So my dad, he started digging me out as fast as he could, but he couldn't dig me out because the roots were so thick. So he had to get a screwdriver to dig around the roots. He sent my brother, we're in the middle of nowhere, cell phones didn't exist back then. So he sent my brother to this main road, hoping someone would pass by. And he was gone. He was 9 years old. And then he sent my other brother to the car to get oil, consecrated blessing, priesthood oil. And he came back with car oil, him being 7. And my dad's like, nope, that's not the right stuff. So he went back and, got the right stuff. And my dad gave me a priesthood blessing. I don't know what was said or remember any of that, but I know that miracles happened through that blessing. And so my brother was able to flag down this older couple on their way home. They took him to their home, called 911, and then they came back and brought my brother back and to see what they could do to help my dad. So with that, they were able to kind of get some of it off of me. And as they uncovered me, they saw that the roots should have gone through me, but instead they were curved around me. So that was huge, preserved my life there. And then as I came out, as they got me out, I don't remember seeing my leg or anything. My dad said my whole leg was at the knee, bent in the wrong direction, and was totally broken. The ambulance came and I had a new pair of jeans on. I remember this. I had a brand new pair of jeans on, and the ambulance, the paramedics ripped my jeans. They were going to rip it, and they're like, okay, we got to rip your jeans. And I'm like, no, they're my new pair of jeans. I'm worried about my jeans. And they're like, we'll buy you a new pair. But so they, uncovered, and they took me to the hospital, and people were there. I remember amazingly, just wheeling me around. But from that break, I only had a broken leg, like nothing was out of place. And I know that was through my dad's faith and just the priesthood power there. And so then I just had a broken leg. So that's that miracle. Just the blessings through the priesthood. And if I can share another miracle. So it seems like physical miracles happen throughout my life. So later on in my life, when I was, I think, 18, we had dirt bikes. We then were living in Colorado. My family was living in Colorado, and I was back visiting from school. And I was unwise. My brother and a friend were out riding dirt bikes, just in this undeveloped area. And I went out and met them. And they were done. We were going to head back home. So I'm like, oh, I'll ride the bike home. So I was in t-shirt and just these thin cotton shorts, and was stupid and didn't wear a helmet or anything, and just took the bike home. And as I was riding through this neighborhood, there was this undeveloped ledge right at the corner of houses. And instead of turning the corner, I went straight and flew off over this cliff. I landed in a tree, and there was extra cement just poured down this hill, which I should have landed on. That's where my bike landed, this dirt bike. And I just came away with scrapes and bruises. I was blessed there. And then another, as you had asked me to talk about things, this other miracle that happened for my daughter. I have 5 daughters. And so my daughter was 5. So kind of, I was 5, then she was 5. And I was my oldest daughter's birthday. They had all run up to get dressed in pajamas after we had opened gifts and stuff for my oldest daughter. And my youngest daughter that morning had stuck her leg over the railing to slide down banister, 12 feet up. And my husband said, no, we don't do that. That's dangerous. Explained why that was dangerous. So that night after opening gifts, she was coming back down and she stuck her leg to go over and slide down the banister again. Well, instead of sliding down, she went headfirst over the railing. I was across the room and watched it in slow motion. I had been talking with my husband, so his back was to her. And I watched her fall face first onto the floor, the wood floor. And, it was like slow motion. Ran over in shock. So I flipped her over, which I shouldn't have done because she could have broken her neck. But huge miracle. She didn't break her neck. She did break her jaw and all her teeth. There was so much blood, there was just teeth coming into my hands, and we didn't know, took her to the emergency room. But what a blessing there that she didn't break her neck, and I've had flipped over, and nothing more had caused more damage there. But as you had said in my bio, that I believe in miracles, great and small. Those to me are huge miracles. But for me, daily miracles are just as huge, where the Lord will direct our paths and give us thoughts, like even to the smallest things of, use this tool to do this thing. And as you follow that, makes life easier. And I know that he is in the details of our lives every day, big or small. He watches over us. For some reason, I was preserved, from 5, and then my daughter, not having to deal with major issues after that, but except having her mouth wide shut for a while, but everything's okay now. But I am grateful for the daily miracles, big and small.
I was muted. Wow, that's amazing. As like, of all the miracle stories we've heard, like, I was like, oh, okay. And I guess I had a little more background on some of the other ones, but when you talk about this, there was like 3 or 4 times I was like my mom heart and my, like, oh my gosh, what do you do in that moment? Like, that's incredible. And I love how you mentioned the power of the priesthood, because when we use God's power that has been delegated to man through the priesthood, through those keys, it allows a greater level of miracle than you get just by praying. Like, I can't even, how to explain it? It's like throwing gas on your fire. You know what I mean? It's like, right. Okay, you're going to get more of an effect when you activate that and you use your agency to ask, hey, can you give me a blessing in this moment? Obviously, when you're 5, your dad's probably like, this is what you need. You're probably, you didn't think about it in that moment. But do you remember anything about being in that hole? Like, do you remember what it felt like for you? Do you remember like anything that you were thinking, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die? Or like, what went through your head?
The only thoughts I remember, the joy of playing in the hole. And then I remember turning over on my back. I don't remember ever being worried, or I didn't feel pressure. I don't remember ever feeling crushed or anything. And maybe it's just, I don't remember, but I've never had that thought. And I trusted in my dad, and I trusted in the blessing. I believed in blessings even then as a small child, and just that trust that was there. And I don't know, I don't remember ever feeling worried or scared. I guess I was, when I got out, I was more worried about my pants, I didn't worry about I don't remember feeling pain. I think there's miracles along there that the Lord preserved me from feeling the physical part of that situation, the pains there.
Yeah, well, and I think that when we live in a way that we're constantly in God and we're there and we're like, I'm choosing you, we have that extra sense of power. And I can bet when you get to heaven, you're going to be like watching that movie of your life, and you're going to see your ancestor angels that are like wrapped around you and holding you, and where those branches go around you when you're in that hole, and the fact that you didn't feel scared. And I know that that's true, that like, even if something traumatic happens and you're feeling that, if you can turn it over to Jesus, like, he will take away the pain. You can still remember it, but the emotional pain, the trauma of it is just gone. And it's pretty incredible that he can do that. It doesn't take years and years of therapy. You can just ask for it, and it can be fast. Sometimes it does take years of therapy, but then we get to trust that that was something we needed for our journey, to be able to learn and grow and be sanctified.
Yes. Yeah.
Love that. Can you, maybe this, you can tell me if you don't want to answer this one, but if you want to, that'd be great. So I noticed they preserved your life when you were 5, and then your daughter and all these things in the future, and your motorcycle and everything. Have you seen any evidences of your journey of like, okay, I know of a certainty this is something that God needed me to accomplish. Like, this is one of those things that I was preserved for.
Family history. Yeah. When you mentioned about, our ancestors surrounding us, I know that's true, that they're very much a part of our lives. And through doing genealogy, I have grown really close to some of my ancestors, just getting to know them through, doing work for them and learning about their lives. I've been blessed with having met my grandmother's cousin, so a distant cousin or whatever, but in person before she died. And she was a big genealogist. She's not a part of my faith, but she loved family and came from an island off of Morocco, a Portuguese island. And I was blessed, miracle, in 2019 to go there and find another ancestor that still lived there. So that, yeah, just family history, I think, is a big calling for me in my life. And I think there's more than that, outside that, but that is a big one for me.
That's beautiful. Okay, for those of you who are listening, if you're like, how do I get started in family history and you're not quite sure what that looks like, you can go to familysearch.org. You can create a free account, and it's the coolest thing because like people from all around the world have united, and they have census records and birth records and death records and military records, and they put them all together in this giant database where you can put in your ancestors and it will link you back as far as the generations go. So like, I think mine goes back to like the 1600s or 1500s. How about yours?
Mine goes, I like 14 or 1100s. I don't know. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's really cool to be able to see where you're linked. It's totally free. Everyone can do it. And you can just see where you're related. It'll tell you like who you're related to and how, and you can search, I think you can search like famous people and stuff. It'll tell you how you're related to them. Or
yeah, there's apps to go along with family search. Yeah.
Through the royalty, and you can record your own stories and save your family history, and it's all on lockdown until when you die, then your account opens up so your grandkids can see it. So it keeps your privacy while you're alive, and then it allows it so your posterity can know about you and about your life too, and we can be connected through the generations. Super cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here, Shelley. Before we cut off our YouTube friends, is there anything else that you feel called to share? Just, it doesn't even have to be a miracle. Just whatever you're like, I feel like I should say this.
Just miracles, just believe in miracles. And I think gratitude, just be grateful. What's something we do each day when we pray as a family at night is we say a golden moment for the day. We also say how we saw God's hand in our life for the day. So just to recognize God's hand in our life every day, and big or small, it doesn't matter. It all matters. To recognize that he's there for you.
I love that. Can you think of a small miracle that maybe happened for you in the last couple of days that you were aware of God's hand?
Well, a lot. We had our water pipe break, and so my husband fixed that. So that's a major miracle. And another miracle with that, just that we have access to some other water on our property. And also we had tornadoes go through and missed us. So yeah, that's a big miracle too.
Miracles along the way.
Yeah.
And I count it as a miracle that, God put Shelley in my life so she could be here to share her miracle with you. And I know that he's in the details and he'll guide you step by step if you choose to anchor your life to him. Thank you for being with us. Those of you on YouTube, if you are joined later and you have not yet done so, go to the link down there in my name, the learnlivefly.com/miracles. You can register and you can get notifications and join us for all of our miracle stories from now until Thanksgiving, as well as join us on Wednesdays for our live coaching Q&As, where we can talk about your miracles and the things that you're seeking to create a miracle and connect you with the resources and the support that you need to be able to help move that forward and maybe just make some divine connections. And that's pretty cool too. So thank you for being with us. Leave your insights, your comments in the YouTube chat so that Shelley can go back and see what stood out to you and the things that have been a blessing, and even share your miracle stories if you want. When you register, you'll have access to the Facebook group where you can go share your miracle stories as well. And we can all learn from your experiences. So thanks for being with us. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you, Olivia. I appreciate it.
Those of you who are here on Zoom, just stay right where you're at. In a minute, we'll cut off YouTube and you'll be able to join us in the Zoom room and ask Shelley any questions that you want, whether it's about her story or just anything else that's on your mind. And we'll work through that for the next 20 minutes or so. And if you do want to join, if you're on YouTube, you can join. It'll send you immediately the link for this where you can come hop in the Zoom room and be with us as well. So have a great day, guys. And we will see you on Wednesday for the Q&A and Friday for No, today's Friday, Monday for another miracle.